Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Distance Dilemma podcast. My name is Shaun. I'm in Dublin. This is Imran. He's in Switzerland. This is our long distance friendship podcast, episode 14. Imran, how are you?
I love the way like every week we've like improved, like he's improved so brilliantly with the introduction, and I feel like now like it's like 3 weeks back to back he's just has it perfect. Because like I've had like family members being like, your mate Sean can't pronounce your name. They thought that it was like a joke thing, that we were like jokingly doing it as like a way for audience members to like, get involved and be like, oh no,
Yeah.
he's spelling your name wrong. I was like, no, he's just my mate for like 10 years that doesn't know how to pronounce my name.
No, I'm just thick, is the honest answer. But it's
Physically
because
and mentally.
I was about to say that. But like I think I said at the time as well, but it's because I never actually have had a reason to say your surname to you. And because like there's so many Sean's. And
Yeah.
by default, like you and Nicola call me Finn a lot of the time anyway. It's like, right, okay, that's like now, and then to be fair, it's not a hard turn to pronounce. Neither is yours, but it just had never kind of come up naturally as we were face to face because I don't have any other close friends or any. I don't have any other friends that I call him,
Yeah, but
So I would never have to clarify that and be corrected on it then like, until this
yeah.
point, They look
But
every
like
other school
imagine me
day is the way
like
I look at it.
imagine like every time we met like a mate though, you just had like their full name. Like way like as humans we just run by first name basis, or like like your second name for some people, like for you it's Finn, and
Yeah,
like maybe some people might say McGuire or whatever. But like imagine me like every time we met we'd have to be like, oh, how are you doing, Sean Finn, or how are you doing, Imran Malik Meyer,
let's
like every
give
single
me the
time.
1800s.
Yeah. Sir Imran of household Auchenweg.
Yeah, yeah, that's way too posh for two Northsiders.
Yeah,
you know.
definitely. So my week, yes, I've had a very good week. I was in Copenhagen for 4 days with Nicola, which was really enjoyable. And then I came back to Switzerland for 1 day, and then I went to Berlin for 2.5 days with two of my buddies from Ireland. So that was a great trip as well. And then I came back 2 days ago, and I was dead from all the traveling, because the nuisance thing about where I'm living is if I want to get a flight, I have to get the train from where I'm living to Bern, which is just a city outside, and then exchange then from there to go get another train to Zurich, then hop on a flight then from Zurich to whatever destination I'm going, and then when I get there, tendency you normally have to get a train then from there to the city, which is like most countries. And so it was a lot of traveling. I was just knackered because I was actually on the phone to Sean that earlier that day. Because we were just like catching up a little bit, because we were actually been fairly busy, right, like recently during the week, which we always are. We're always both really busy. Um, and then I came back to work then the past 2 days, but my body clock's just trying to like come back around again. But like it also is like just first world problems. Like I've just been lucky. I've been able to go on 2 trips with my days off from work and stuff. So yeah, I had a great time.
It's
How are
crazy how
you?
long it feels that like when we don't speak because we're so used to speaking to each other like within like a week because like usually we record like on a Saturday or a Thursday like we usually have like it's time that we'll stick to for a few weeks, but the last 2 weeks, I think the last time we recorded the podcast was like last Tuesday, and then tonight's Sunday, so this is coming out like 12 hours after we're recording it or something like that, but like it's crazy now. It feels so long between
Yeah.
the time like that we talk, so when we were on the phone, and we'll get into there's a reason we were on the phone. We'll get into that a little bit later in the podcast as to some current events, let's just say. Get into that a little bit later, a bit of a tease. This is content creation with my woman, man. Like, you got to tease them so they stick around. Like, like, share, subscribe, all that good thing. But it's crazy a lot. Like, it felt like so long since I had spoken to you when it really hadn't been.
Mm.
Uh,
But it's funny because like before, what we used to do, we used to like send a lot of like voice messages, and then like that's how we'd like talk, like communicate. Like if I like needed to tell Sean something, if even if it was nothing to do with the podcast, like I would text him. But recently, I've just been like, oh, it's just so much easier like to send you a voice recording, and then you'd send a voice recording back, and I do that because to like type everything out, especially with us because we're such wafflers, we like go into such explanations about what we're doing, even if it's something small. Um, it's funny like how like we kind of adapted from like going from like texting on Snapchat regularly, and then like jumping off Snapchat, and then like obviously I was big on WhatsApp, and then you kind of come across the WhatsApp a little bit now, and then like we do everything on the podcast on WhatsApp too, like when we're discussing our topics and everything, or like even before like we started this again, we had a bit of technical difficulties, but like everything we just seem to do now is just kind of like through voice messages, and like we very actually rarely phone call each other.
Yeah, because it's like because we obviously speak to each other all the time doing this, but like we don't get for obvious reasons we don't get super personal on the podcast, whereas like we would when we're not on the podcast, like when we're talking about like stuff that's to do with like maybe family or work or like other kind of like private things, like so we don't.
Mm.
Like it sometimes feels like that like like we're missing out on that part of our friendship at times, like because like not that we're like losing it, but like because we speak so often, but it's always kind of on this kind of public space. We don't get to it as frequently as we used to. Whereas like before we started this, like we'd probably be texting each other every week about what's going on in work or like or in day to day life or what's going on with any personal issues that we have, like but I don't
Mm.
know. I feel like like that's also true, but I also feel like since you've been away and since we've started this and stuff, like nothing dramatic has happened to us. Like I didn't get laid off from the job again, or there hasn't been like anything like big. Like last year when I was texting Imran, Imran's not the only person that said this, right? But last year I had one of those years where like every time it popped up, Shaun is typing, people were just saying to me, "Oh God, what's after happening to you now?" You know, so it hasn't been that type of year really in that sense, like.
It's kind of funny, like sometimes when people are talking about like the years they've had, and then like you think back then at the end of the year, you're like, Jesus Christ, I had a bad year. That was like me. Like last year for me, it was really good because I was like able to move here with Nicola, and like we got our first apartment together, and like I finished up well in the job I had beforehand. But then like 2 years ago before that, I probably had like one of the worst years of my life. So it's just funny, like it seems with us, it's like kind of up or down. Like it is never really like them years where people say, "Oh, it was all right." Like for me, it just seems like we either like a really high year or it's like a really 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 low year.
Do you know one year that I feel like everybody had a great year? Well, I can't speak for everyone, but like anybody that I've said about this year, everyone seemed to have a good year. It's 2022. That was a great year.
It was the year that COVID
It was
ended,
the
was
year
it?
after, so I think
Oh, year
COVID
after
like
COVID.
restrictions lifted in the February of that year, and then like life kind of went back to normal for a little bit, and the weather was good that summer as well. And I don't know, for me, I had a lot of like it was the first like kind of summer I had with Simone and stuff. So like you had your like we had our first holiday and your first kind of like trips out to the beach and doing there was a lot of firsts in that year, and like I'd also that was the year when I moved out of my mom's house as well. So like I was kind of you know without going too into it, it was like kind of the first time I'd been kind of like let off my leash in
Mm.
that way where I felt like I could breathe a little and enjoy my life a bit, like but like from a personal perspective, that was a great year. But then I've said it to other people, being like, oh, that was like I always think back fondly on that year. But other people have said to me as well, like I don't know if it was the weather. It was probably just because the weather was good that year. That's probably all it was. Sure.
Yeah, basing our fucking lives off weather has become a custom thing now.
Yeah, it's very very Irish thing. And also for this week for current affairs, I shaved off my beard as well.
I noticed that it's actually a lot tighter.
Yeah, so it's not for anybody who's just listening and not watching. You'll probably see on the clips as well. It's not gone. It's not a wet shave, but it's gone from. I when I cut it off, like I had like three full handfuls of hair. It was.
Does someone like it?
Simone had been saying to me it needs to be
Trimmed
like
up.
trimmed up a bit because it was getting to but like for me it was just getting to the stage where like it was the same reason I shaved it the last time I got to Atlanta. It was just starting to get really annoying to eat, and it was starting to become a pain. Like I had to like keep brushing it a couple of times a day, and if it got like if it rained outside and I came back in, it would just curl up, and it was just like it was same reason I cut my hair when I grew my hair out long. I just wasn't able to maintain it, so I was just like I got up this morning and I was like right today. I've been saying it for the last like kind of week. I've been like we finished the gig. We done a gig on Friday night, and I was kind of like, right, I'm going to do it after the gig just because I'm doing a lot of promo and I've got a lot of videos recorded also. So I
Mm.
was like, right, I've not got anything music related coming up in the next like 3 to 4 weeks. So if I shave now, it's not going to look as like disconnected in all the content because like we've been recording, like we had a lot of photos and videos taken then, and
Yeah.
then I've chopped it off. So like at least it'll grow back out a little bit. by the
Yeah.
time I start filming stuff again, like, it won't be as drastic of a change, like, in the next, like, that'll be in like 3 or 4 weeks' time, but it won't look as drastic on content then, like.
Yeah, it's funny as like you when you're like like in the content world, you gotta like think of stuff like that, like going
Yeah.
forward, so it doesn't look like there's too much of a jump gap or like that it was pre-recorded or like just things that you probably don't think like a viewer thinks when they see your like
Yeah,
whatever you're doing on.
it's something I have to think of when I'm doing like stuff. I'm like, if I wear the same T-shirt 2 days in a row and like make content out of that, I'm like, oh, that looks like it was just recorded in one day or one sitting or
Didn't you wear that
matched.
shirt last week?
Not last
Last
week. It
episode.
was
Oh, it was the
two or
episode
3 weeks
before.
ago. Yeah,
Okay,
but
okay,
also
okay.
it also popped into my head of like, right, okay, but I had my big beard and that, so people will be like, right, okay, that's not from the same episode, like,
Oh,
So
okay.
there we go, big boy moves.
Interdimensional cable. He just switched to a whole other universe. He did.
Did you you must have done this on? Did you say Tuesday was your cinema day?
Tuesday is my cinema day. Yes.
That's the day where they have it in English subs, is it?
Yeah. It's in English and then it has German and French subtitles on underneath the movies. I was actually having a feeling you were going to ask me about this. But I'll let
Yeah,
you
so
continue.
you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
We have both seen Sinners, which is like taking over the world.
It's everywhere,
It's
and I think
brilliant.
it deserves everything, all the hype. I thought it was brilliant. I honestly, and if even if horrors aren't your thing, the storytelling, the camera work, the acting is just phenomenal.
Mm. Michael B is
The
definitely favored for best actor at the moment. Like, obviously there's
Yeah,
still like a lot of films that have to come out. There's
yeah.
still a
We
lot of
have a whole
nominations.
year to go. We have a whole year to go.
Yeah, but like
Um,
he's definitely going
yeah.
to get nominated, and he's definitely front runner right now. Like, and Coogler's direction is just
Yeah,
fucking
that's actually
every
honestly
every Ryan Coogler film is great. Like,
is
honestly,
great.
like even Black Panther 2, which like is mainly Marvel Studios' fault for not being a fantastic story, it's still a brilliantly made film.
Brilliant.
Like.
Yeah, definitely. And I thought me and Nicola were talking about this. I thought that even if Michael B doesn't win an acting award, I definitely think from a direction point of view, like he definitely deserves something. Even the stuff
He
of
has to get a nod. 100% has to get a
yeah,
nod.
a
There's no
hundred
way around
percent has to get a nod. Like I saw the scene. I won't spoil too much for people, but there's a scene in the movie where it's like a kind of like a solo by one of the characters, and it's like a dance scene around them, and it goes through like the different eras of the history of the culture at that time, and it goes throughout the years, like kind of hitting every point of music. But it's actually a reference to like a really famous painting, and it's like if you see the shots like side by side, it's like literally perfect. I'm sure Sean will be able to find it in the editing when he does this after. I can even send
No,
it to
no,
him. But
no pressure to Sean. Yeah, thanks for
yeah,
sending that.
no pressure to Sean the edit. I he's used to
And
now on the edits.
and just to contradict that, here is a random image with nothing got to do with Imran's head. There we go. And I have no idea what that is right now at the time of recording, but we're gonna put that in when I edit. And it could be a photo. I don't know what I'm gonna put in there, but we'll find something really stupid to put in. And there we go.
We'll
Clip
make
number
him.
one sorted.
Yeah, I'll make him put both in so you can see both. But yeah, great movie.
It's one of
And
those like films like where the less you know about the film going into it, the better. Like,
yeah,
honestly, and I wouldn't call it a horror. Like you mentioned it there, and like I think it's being kind of branded as a horror. I wouldn't call it a
yeah.
horror,
It's
um,
a it's a
because
different. It's like a different type of a horror. It's more. I don't know the genre of horror, but it's not like your. It's not a jump
it's more
scare
thriller.
horror. It's a
But
thriller more
even
like.
it's not like I wouldn't say it's like along the lines of those like films like Get Out and stuff where
No,
like you're on the edge of your seat and
no.
you're like it's just a really interesting film, especially like the first half is like such like I'm just really happy that like a film is doing so well that has spent the first hour just doing a bit of character development and showing you what who the characters are, what they're about, and then it kind of gets like shit just goes fucking mad,
The last
But I
hour of the movie is just crazy.
crazy, like but it's because you have the setup in the first half, you
Mm.
understand where these people have come from, why they're all in the place that they're in when shit starts kicking off. Like, I don't want to spoil it for people because it's one of those again like it's one of those films that the less you know about it, the better. And I heard so many people say that, and I was like, "Heads that? No, I don't know what you mean. Like, you should know basic bits about the plot. Like I didn't know
No.
anything about this film. I don't even want to say it because I don't want to spoil that for you. But
Mm.
don't even watch the trailer.
Yeah, yeah.
Please
I
watch
didn't
the trailer.
watch the trailer. I didn't watch the trailer. I didn't read up anything about it because I seen it was being blasted on my Instagram. Just everyday videos, people giving it 10 out of 10 ratings, celebrities talking about it, and then all the interviews when they were of the cast talking about the movie. So I just didn't look at it all. There was one thing I actually wanted to say to you because I came out of the movie and I was like, oh, I think he would be perfect to play him. So I won't go into it too much, but the kid in the movie who is like the protagonist in the film, I think he is such a shout to play the real live Miles Morales. If they do end up bringing Miles Morales live action into a thing,
Good show. Yeah, good show.
yeah,
I can see
Nicola,
that.
because he's a huge actor at the moment.
That's his
He's
first film, you know.
that's it. Yeah, that is his first film. I only saw that yesterday. Yeah, I thought he did a great job. I was so
He was
impressed with him.
incredible for his first
Yeah,
film. Again, probably up there. Like I don't know if it will carry all the way to the end of the film, but into the end of the year because there's so many more films that have to come out. But I
yeah,
could see him getting a best supporting actor nod.
yeah.
You know,
I,
but I thought it was incredible in the context of it is his first film, and he was incredible in the film. But I don't know, there's just it would take not a lot of more like fantastic performances for him to be guaranteed to win it, and like a couple of more on par performances from a few more experienced actors will probably knock him out of the best nom category. But I do think he deserves a nomination.
Yeah, I do think there is like a satire coming around back again for like these different style of horror movies coming out. Um, like you remember like coming up to the end of last year, like, you had like Nosferatu, which I didn't particularly like, but that had a lot of craze at the time. You have Sinners now, so I feel like horror is kind of up. But I like this style of horror that they're doing at the moment. It's kind of slipping back into that like psychological kind of like mystery horrors, rather than the we've talked about this before, like the jump scare films, like Paranormal
Watching around
Activity. Yeah, yeah, all these kind of like shit movies that when you're a kid and you get scared by the music more than the actual visuals. So I'm actually enjoying it. I am a horror fan
No
myself. Sorry,
joke.
go
One
on.
of the scariest films I've ever seen is Coraline.
Oh my god, Coraline scares the shit out of me.
Coraline
I,
makes me so fucking uncomfortable.
And then when you read up about the film after, like I remember I watched it when I was a kid, and then I didn't watch it for a couple of years, and then I rewatched it I think like 2 years ago. And I was actually watching it with Nicola, and then she fell asleep, and I was like, you know what? I'll actually stay up and I'll watch it while she's on the couch. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this! I was like, I remember being a kid, and I was like, I understand why this is so scary. The visual shots in it are so scary.
Yeah, it's because they wanted to go for that kind of like Wallace and Gromit animation style because it's a stop motion
Yeah,
film as well. Like, and I don't know, it's everything about it is just fucking. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and to be honest, I'm still too scared to go back and watch it because I've seen clips of it online. I'm like, you know what? I'm grand saying that I'm grand having it watched on my letterbox and not having that as a recent rewatch. I'm fine with that.
yeah.
Here's a good one for you, right? What's like some scenes in films that are not horror films or not meant to be creepy films at all that scare the shit out of you?
There's this. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Reservoir Dogs. There's a scene in
Yeah.
Reservoir Dogs where he I don't know why I really love the scene, but there's a scene in the movie again. Spoiler if you've never seen it. He basically sets this guy that he's torturing on fire, but it's the way that the actor isn't enjoying himself during the process of setting this guy on fire really freaked me out the first time I saw it. It's because he just looked like he was enjoying the whole thing. Also, this is a bit of an obvious one. Oh well, no, that's I'm about to say that Jack Nicholson, that is a horror, so I can't go that way. So yeah, that's the one off the top of my head. What's one that you have?
The one that shut to my head for the question was now I would this is more of an action film.
Hmm.
Have you seen the film Deep Blue Sea? It's by sharks.
Yes, yeah,
So it's the scene where, again, spoiler alert, it's the scene where Samuel L. Jackson's character dies,
yes.
and
I'm
the
trying to
shark just
remember.
kind of comes out and fucking munches him in 3 seconds. It is always scared the absolute shit out of me.
There's a
And
lot of films like that though, where like they're not perceived as horrors, but you're like genuinely freaked out because you're not expecting it.
one that happened, you were sat beside me when this happened. When we went to see the Hunger Games Songbirds of
Yes,
Snakes, and
yeah,
I didn't know I'd never seen a Hunger Games film in my life up to that point, right? It was just Nicola, Simone, and Imran. All were like, "Oh, we want to go see it." So I was like, "Okay, yeah, Grant." It was a prequel anyway, so I
Hmm.
wasn't getting that spoiled for me. But I was just like, "Yeah, we're going to see the Hunger Games prequel." I didn't know it was called Songbirds of Snakes. Is that correct? It's
Yes,
Songbirds of.
yeah, I think it's something like that. Yeah.
Anyway, me not knowing this, I have a fucking terrible phobia of snakes. I cannot, I can't even watch snakes on television. They make me uncomfortable. Like I have to know there's got if a snake just pops up on TV without me knowing it's going to be there, I will have some sort of panic attack. It came. I was flicking through Instagram the other day, and a mate of mine had his pet snake on a story, and I fucking dropped my phone, and shot myself because it just popped up, and the snake was like kind of moving and rattling and stuff. And oh, anyway, there's a scene in this film where a snake is on the screen, and it basically bites somebody in the arm or something like that. And in the middle of this screen of the cinema, I properly like let out a big yell. Like I just cannot deal with snakes whatsoever. But that was one that popped into my head just there as well.
Yeah. Where did you get that phobia from, though? Like,
I
where is
don't
this
know.
came
I've
from?
I've never had any encounters with like I've been away on holidays and like you know the way sometimes you see people just holding massive snakes.
Mm.
It's my nana has it as well. I don't have any other phobias. Like I don't mind heights, don't mind the dark, don't mind like close spaces, stuff like that doesn't bother me at all. But snakes just scare the living daylights out. I think do you know what it is right? I'm actually getting really uncomfortable thinking about this. It's the way snakes move, the way they just go.
Just
No,
go.
it's the way because they don't have legs and the way they just eat things as well, and they look
Have you ever
no.
seen them shed their skin? It's
Yeah, man,
really,
as well. Don't get me
it's
started on
so
that shit. Like,
creepy.
man, like, and so, here's all right. Here's all right. So you told an embarrassing story last week. I'll tell an embarrassing story this week. So
Okay.
I think I've told you
Clip,
this before as well. Yeah,
clip.
we'll
Second,
start the
second
clip.
clip of the video.
Yeah. Okay. So there was a time where this is when me and Simone were first going out with each other, and Simone loves reptiles and snakes and all that sort of stuff.
Of course she
I
does.
no, I don't mind lizards and all that sort of carry on. It's just snakes, you know. So, it was like the first time I like it was one of the first times anyway that I'd gone over to stay in Simone's house, you know, and I had come in from work. So I came in, I was in my work uniform, Simone was downstairs, and I was like, I'm just gonna go get changed out of my work clothes into my, you know, this more casual clothes for at home. And she goes, yeah, Grant, so I go up in Simone's room and I'm just like there and I'm yeah, I'm down to my jocks, I think. And Simone just screams up the stairs. She goes, "Oh, Sean, watch out! Custard's out of her cage." You know, great name for a snake, Custard. And as I see that the snake is like looking at me, standing up and hissing its thing, I just shot myself and ran downstairs.
This wait, she has a snake.
Well, she doesn't anymore. She did when we first got together. I think her sister took it.
Okay, you're like, thank God.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. She didn't get rid of it. I didn't make her get rid of it. Just to clarify, in case people are like, "That's like John. It's a very big
Sean
red flag for
killed the
Sean."
snake.
Simone didn't have time to look after the snake, so she gave it to her sister. You know, I didn't force the snake out, but the snake, although I can categorically say the snake would not have been moving into this house when we got it. But yeah, that's my embarrassing story.
It's funny that we're both like both of our phobias are animals. Because you know, Sean knows this. There's such a big fear of spiders. I mean, like a lot of people. But the thing is, I honestly don't know where I got that from either. Because I'm obsessed with Spider Man. Um,
Ah, yes.
I think yes, but I think maybe it's from Harry Potter. In the second Harry Potter film, there's a scene where they go into the forest and they're being chased by like I'd say like 15 spiders, and they just like look terrifying because they're huge. Like they're obviously because it's fantasy. They're like nearly the size of a house, and they're like chasing humans through the forest, and it just looks creepy. But I've never had like many instances where like I've been near a tarantula or anything like that. Now over the years I have gotten a lot better with the small ones. I'm able to like flick them away in my hand now a little bit. But before like if before thanks man before now like even like it's like when we first started living together, me and Nicola, I was like, you know, if anyone ever comes into the house, I got your back, I'll take them out, you know, I'll be your bodyguard. But if there's a spider in the house, not a chance I'm touching that, you're getting that. So yeah,
Yeah, I
not
don't
for
get
me.
this. My mom was the same. My mom was always scared of spiders, and I was
Mm.
the resident catcher slash stomper slash whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I don't know. Spiders is a fairly common one as well. To be fair, I
Mm.
don't mind spiders. Obviously, like when you see ones that are like the size of a printer, yeah, fuck that, you know.
Jesus Christ.
But like,
Printer. Oh, Jesus.
man,
Oh,
that's it's one of the reasons I like. That's one of the reasons I would never move to Australia because there's because
never.
snakes there, and then also like because they have them fat ass spiders. Now I know that's like in like less, they're in way more remote areas and out in deserts and stuff. Like you
Mm.
wouldn't be catching many of them around Perth and Sydney and all those sort of places. Like, but it's one of the things that would stop me from going to Australia specifically is for that type of crap. Like the most dangerous thing you're going to run into in Ireland is like I don't know. What's the most
And
dangerous animal you
that,
could run into over here? Like,
I hell yeah.
hell yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, probably not.
Or a 40-year-old ma with 3 kids and a
From
council estate.
Shout out to Grumman.
Garage Coleman.
Yeah,
Um,
like I think like the most deadly animal you find over here is like a fox or something. Like just like a wild one, like
I love foxes. They
Oh,
just do
foxes are
be
great.
on. They're so cute, and they just do be on, doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Um, what's it called? Oh, actually, we actually have a funny story about relation to a fox because Sean's actually in relation to this. I won't go into details too much. Sorry, you probably forgot this story.
Yeah.
So it was my eight. It was
No, what you're
my.
talking about.
I went out on a night out for my birthday. Loads of us went. I'd say like maybe 20, 25 of us.
This is just
Anyway,
Imran's flex to show off how many friends he has. I've like five.
yeah, you were there anyway. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, these are drinking friends, right? Anyway. But yeah, this is when Sean was out that night as well. Anyway, we all went to Academy. We got pissed drunk. I was like nearly at the point like blackout drunk. And we left Academy and we went to go get food. Anyway, me and Nicola were having an argument at the time, and it was like over something stupid. I think it was about like keys or something. And Sean was kind of like trying to like diffuse the situation kind of thing, like be like, it's okay guys, and never blah, blah. Anyway, I think I ended up like running off down an alleyway or something like that, and Sean chased me or whatever. But there was like a fox that just like came, like I think I ran around the corner and like a fox like just came around the corner where Sean was, and like Sean and this fox were like in like touching distance of each other. And anyway, I don't know what happened after that. I don't know if like the fox just ran off, or it just like stayed in contact with Sean. Maybe Sean has like more
Oh
to
yeah,
the
it's not a small
story.
number. We meet up for points every week.
Yeah. No, but like I don't know what else happened when I left. Like, was it just you and the fox like ran off, or?
No, I don't know how in depth you want me to go on this. I didn't know where you were going with that, but now I remember what you're talking about. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the fox didn't stick around for too long. We had our ways and made peace, so to speak. I don't want to go. I don't want to go into depth in this story because it's more like, especially because you and Nicola were in the middle of an argument. So I don't know how
Yeah.
much detail.
No, no, but I know, no, but I mean, like, I just
I'm
mean,
just gonna
like,
let you take the wheel on this one.
yeah, I don't know, I just mean, like, I think you got, like, a fright, because you just, like, weren't expecting to see a fox, because that's what I remember you saying to me, and then after,
Well, who is expecting to see a fox at 3 a.m. on Henry Street? To be fair.
to be fair, yeah. But I just remember after we were all in, like, Burger King, and you just kept talking about this fox, you were like, guys, there's this fox that was around the corner, I just kept seeing this fox, like, you said it, like, 5 times, I think.
Yeah,
Now, in fairness, though, you were probably pissed drunk as well at the same
No,
time,
that was
because it's
one of
back.
my first summer nights after I gave up.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was I'd given up drinking. I think the month before that, so it was my first or second. It was really shortly after I gave up the drink. So I think, and that's why I went after you guys, because I was the only one that out of all of us that were sober
Yeah.
as well. So yeah. Again, like I feel a bit awkward because I don't know how in depth I can go on this, because I don't want to land any of us in hot water.
Close case, and that's the end of the story.
Anyway,
Moving on. How many years are you? I'm not gonna say sober, but like, how many years have you like been without a drink of alcohol now?
This October will be 6 years.
6 years.
6 years, yeah.
Man.
That'll be
It's just because like when I was away with two of my friends in Ireland, we were like talking about because I was saying like all three of us that were, well, I'd say two of us that were there at when we were in the pub, we were all we were both like stated that like we're more of a social drinker, which I am. Like, I don't drink at home. don't tend to really drink during the week. I only drink when I'm like nights out with other people just for the social aspect or whatever. And I was saying to him like, would you ever like give up drinking? And one of the lads was like, yeah, and then the other lad was like, no, I can't. And we were like, oh, like explain why you can't. And he was just like, when I'm in a social setting and everyone else is drinking, he was like, I just don't have fun when I'm not drinking. And I just want to ask, like this, like that's his opinion because he tried it, like from his point of view. But I'm just wondering, like, what's your perspective on it? Who's someone who had like went through that at the start? You know, like at like your, let's say your first like couple of months of like trying to do it, because you were out like a lot as well. Like you would go on nights out as well, like fairly enough into town and stuff like that. So how was it for you going from like that completely like drinking with your mates and going to the pub and going on nights out then to like nothing? And like how did you, because like we talked before now, like you don't really tend to go to nightclubs anymore, you don't really go to the pub, so like yeah, but like because you have more interest now, you know, your music, and you go like going to the cinema and you like going for food with Simone and that kind of stuff and like walking the dog. So like what's it like going from like one end of the scale then straight to nothing, just from your point of view?
Yeah, because I didn't do it. I went pretty much cold turkey when I decided to give drinking. Like I didn't like I did make the decision fairly suddenly. Like I had been saying to myself a few months before that like I wasn't sure if I wanted to be like a heavy drinker and stuff. But then like I kind of noticed I was drinking a lot too kind of. Well, I was getting upset and I was starting to drink, and I kind of
Yeah.
copped onto that. And I remember specifically we were at I won't say who, but we were at a funeral for one of our friends, family members, who you probably know who I'm talking about when I say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like 3 o'clock, and we were all shit faced. Like all of us were. Like, we because we all knew this member of our friend's family, and he was a lovely guy. And we were sad because he had died, and we were also really sad for our mate as well. Like, you know, and I remember it was like 3 or 4, and we were all really fucking shit faced, like, you know. And I just remember I ordered a pint of orchard Eves, and I was just like, I don't know why I'm doing this, you know. And I kind of just was like, and I at the time I kind of thought, oh, I'm just drunk and I'm having drunk deep thoughts, like, you know. But yeah, I kind of just was like, I'm gonna just knock this on the head for a while. And the initial plan was to just like, I didn't set a goal around. I just said I'm just gonna go drinking for a while, and I just haven't gone back to it. Um, when I first started like going out. So I think I went on a night out with my job like a week or two later, and then I went out on that night out that you were just talking about. And it was weird, not it was weird when people were like buying rounds and like I wasn't a part of that. And it was weird that like, you know, I was just getting basically like water and Coca-Cola. Um it was weird the first one or two times. But then I kind of like got comfortable with it really quick, like, you know, because like it was nice going to bed and waking up without a hangover. That was a big thing. Like not having hangovers anymore has been like the best thing ever. And I'm a bit more like, you know, you pick up on more things and you see people's behavior. Like, and I didn't like, and you know this better than a lot as well. Like I was not a happy drunk as well. I was a miserable fucker when I was drunk. Like, you know, so I think it was good for me and it was good for the people around me. Like I didn't give up, and like this is something I always like. Something I hate people doing is like not drinking because I'm not drinking. Like if me and you don't do this, which is what I love, and like lot of my close friends don't do this. But like if we're going out and we do happen to end up in a pub or anywhere, and people going, I'm not going to drink because you're not drinking. Don't do that. Have a drink if you want to have a drink. I'm just choosing not to. Like, you know. And yeah, like it's weird for the first one or two times, but then when I came home and I was like, I was starting to see the benefits of like, you know, I also had more money in my pocket as well. Like we were spending
That's
like 150,
a
200
major
quid a
thing.
week on drink, and like then it's not just the drinks on the night. 'Cause you probably spend about 100 quid a night, but it's like, you know, the taxis home from town, and then because you're in town and some people want food, that you end up going, you end up spending like 15, 20 quid on food that you don't even eat half the time, like, you know, or you end up throwing it up or something like that. So, and then I think like it worked, like it worked out isn't the right word, but like because COVID happened then, and like I didn't go to clubs or nightclubs. Like I haven't been to a nightclub since 2019. Is the last time I was in a nightclub. Now I've been in pubs loads, and I still don't mind going to pubs, but like I don't like going to pubs late. Like, you know, like I kind of want to be out of a pub by like 9 or 10 o'clock. Like, you know, just because that's when things get messy, And that's when people start like putting their arms out, I love you so much, and things get messy and smelly and slurry and stuff. So yeah, I would really recommend not for like I'm not anti-drink, I'm not anti-drug, I'm do whatever the fuck you want as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. Do what you want. But I would recommend everybody tries it for like 6 months and see how much it changes life because it was easily like the best decision I ever made. Because like I said before, and you have been on long, I was a really unhappy drunk. Even if you're a happy drunk, I think like you'll discover a lot about yourself with it, and like I've had like Simone's ordered cocktails and she'll go taste that. I'll have a taste, but I understand it's a lot more difficult if you suffer with alcoholism or you're having some sort of addiction. I just think general day to day, give it a go and see the improvements. Like I guarantee you'll see some improvements in some metrics of your life, whether it's financial, whether it's your mental health, or whether it's like your productivity or something like that. I guarantee it will get better. That's my weekly tangent done, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it's interesting. I actually kind of always wanted to ask that question because I don't think we've actually ever really talked about it really. Because maybe yeah,
because
like
because
the
when
first
we're out,
year.
we're always not doing drinking things. Like we're always going to the cinema
Mm,
or going for breakfast or
mm.
playing football. So it's not like we wouldn't often be in a pub. You're having a drink, and I'm having a coke. We have now, but it just wouldn't be something that we do often.
Yeah.
Like.
No, like I think the last time I might have had a drink with you was maybe when we probably went to watch a United and Chelsea game, and I think I'd have a drink and a carvery with you, like, and I think your granddad was there as well, and Adam, I think. But no, I was just interested. I always wanted to ask you, like, and I always like hearing people's different perspectives on it because I'm sure, and I know, like, talking to my mates, like, we've all had discussions about how we'd love to try, um, you know, not drink and stuff like that, and like I have like contemplated it so many times giving up myself and stuff like that. And maybe one day I will. It's not like it's an issue, but it's just like it's something you know. On a financial standpoint, it would be great to have a little extra cash in the pocket and stuff like that. Because you are right, like the amount of money you spend on a night is ridiculous, and you don't even realize how much if the money goes up. Like you're saying there with the taxi and the food and then the drink, and then after like when you're doing rounds and then shots and all that kind of stuff, and then like you're saying like the feeling, the way you feel after. Like I just can't do hangovers. Like I know I'm only 25, but like I swear to God, like I'd be on my deathbed now after having like 3 points. I just can't do it. Like I feel awful. That's why I just don't really drink anymore as much as I used to as well. Like I think I might drink maybe once a month, maybe
Mm.
twice. All depends like what's going on. Um, but I think it's definitely it's definitely something I'd like to see change going forward, especially in Ireland because our culture is so much a drinking culture. Um, and it's sad because like we see a lot of like families and friends that are really affected by it, and yeah, I don't know, like it's I feel like we are as a country moving forward like in terms of like bringing a lot of non-alcoholic beverages in now. I think like that's an improvement because like you still have that effect then when you're at the pub that you feel like you're still drinking. A lot of alcoholics have talked about this, like where you have like your non-alcoholic Guinness, Heineken, etc. And then like I feel like obviously running has become really popular in Ireland over the past couple of years, and meeting up for coffees is like always being talked about in mental health services and stuff.
Mm.
Um,
I have a bit
but
of a
yeah,
hot take on non-alcoholic beer,
yeah, cool.
and people might not like what I have to say on this.
Yeah,
So I just want to say I understand I'm coming from a perspective of I know this isn't popular, but this kind of is how I am feeling on it. I feel like people who drink non-alcoholic beer, but say like it's complicated because I have friends who are like this, no, sorry, who do this right, but like I feel like people who say they don't drink but drink non-alcoholic beer, I don't. There's something about it that doesn't click for me because it's like saying I don't drink soft drinks but then drinking Coke Zero. Do you get me?
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel I think especially like for if you're an alcoholic, it's a really like healthy and productive way to get off the drink.
Yeah.
Losing the effect that alcohol is having on your day-to-day life. But I feel like if you're still kind of chasing the like that kind of like, and I get it can be a social thing as well, and
Mm.
there's loads of benefits to drinking non-alcoholic beer, like being able to drive your car. And like, for it's kind of like the mental thing of like, it's like with cigarettes and vaping, like, you're still getting the kind of drag feel of a cigarette, like, but it's not a cigarette, like
Mm.
it's a different thing, like, but I don't know. For me, if someone is like, "Oh, I'm not drinking," but they're drinking no non-alcoholic, something about it just doesn't sit 100% with me. Like, I don't want to say that they're still drinkers or they're still alcoholics, because they're not. Like, but something about that for me just doesn't, like I said, like I have a Coke Zero right now, and if you were like, oh, if someone was like, "Oh, I don't drink soft drinks," then like they cracked open a Coke Zero, I would be like, "Well, hold on, no." That is that is a soft drink, like, and there is like a tiny percentage of alcohol in non-alcoholic beer, like there is in most drinks as well. By the way, that's not a shade at non-alcoholic beers. If you get orange juice or apple juice, or any of those type of things, there's like, and even bananas, like, but like, actual bananas, like, they all have like very small percentages of alcohol in them. So I'm not shitting on that whatsoever, but it's just a hot take that I've had.
No, and I kind of agree with you like that. For me, I think of it more like it's kind of like a stepping stone for coming down off maybe something that you have an addiction to. So, like for
Yeah.
example, if you're a heroin user, you would use a methadone clinic, and then you try to reduce your percentage over time, that your intake, sorry, over time. So I feel like in that sense, if you use it as like a stepping stone to come down off an addiction you have, it's a good sense. But I
Mm.
feel like if you're just using that as just like you were saying there, like a hot take of, I'm not drinking a soft drink, but you're drinking a Coke Zero, it's, you're not really, you're kind of like double bystanding yourself.
Mm.
But I think we talked about this enough, so I think we'll go on to like a happier topic for the
Okay,
viewers.
right. Well, I've
Yeah,
got my happiest topic.
yeah, let's go into this. Yeah.
Right. So, since we last recorded the podcast, I have taken, completed, and passed my driving test. So now I'm officially on the fucking road.
Come on, give yourself a laugh. Come on, pat yourself on the back. Come on, pat yourself. Fair
I
play.
am fucking delighted with myself.
You
A
should
first
be.
time as well. I'm fucking delighted with myself. It's been a really long and frustrating road to get to.
For a lot of
Yeah,
people right now.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Anybody who has like known me for the last year has known how much this has been bugging me. Because I've been on the waiting list for, it would have been a year in 2 days' time. So like, like I was 11 months and like 3 weeks or something like that on the waiting list. And I
Mm,
didn't even get a test by being on the waiting list. I got a cancellation. But everything worked out perfect because I got a cancellation in Blanche across the road from where I used to live for 20 years. Or actually, no, it was like 12 years. I didn't live there
mm.
from when I was a kid, like, but I lived in that area. I knew the roads like the back of my hand. I didn't do a lot. I done 6 lessons there, and I done 6 lessons when I moved over to Ballyfermot, and like in like the Tala region, because that's where I thought I'd have to do my test. Like, and I've been doing all my pre-tests and all my practices and stuff in Tala because I thought that's where I'd be doing a test. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really really happy with myself, and I'm just buzzing, like, because it was something as well I don't think a lot of people know this. You probably know this, right? But I've had so many people say you can just drive now. I'm like, no, I can't just drive now. I have to actually have my license in my hands before I can drive.
Mm.
And I don't think a lot, because everyone was like, "Oh, you can just go and do it." I'm like, "No, you have to wait until your license is physically in your hand, which takes 3 working days." So I passed that on Friday, so I'll probably get mine on Tuesday. It's Sunday as we're recording this, which is really frustrating because I had the whole weekend where I was like, I want to go and do stuff, but I can't yet. But it'll be worth it. I've been waiting a year. I can wait another week. That's fine.
Yeah. You're just happy that
But
you passed.
yeah, like I really, really am. And like I've been screaming about it on my Instagram, and like, do you know what? Like, I don't make a fuss about myself often, but I'm making a fuss right now because and do you know where we're going next week? We're going first place. I'm going next Saturday morning is the Krusty Corner. Shout out to the Krusty Corner.
Shout out to the Krusty Corner. I actually asked two of the boys to go there because they've never had it. So I might get them to text me their live reaction of them having their Krusty Corner
So you
meal.
get them to send voice notes in, and we'll verify the best deli in Dublin, best
I
deli
will.
in
I will.
Ireland, because it's actually
I
not in
will.
Dublin, it's in me technically.
Yeah, true. That feeling though, I'll never forget it. I remember when I passed mine. It's just it's not even it's happiness, but it's just pure relief that it's
Yeah,
over because it's such a long process. Especially for everyone that's like gone through the process just after or during the COVID times because it's such a backlog. And I won't talk about it because we talked about it previously on the podcast. But oh man, I was so for it. Like I remember that's what I was saying. Because Sean rang me on the. He was trying to ring me, but I was actually lost in Berlin. But I wasn't lost. I was trying to find the platform. I was trying to get the train to the airport, and then both of the trains got cancelled. So I was a bit overwhelmed. And Sean was ringing me, and I was like, I can't answer the phone right now. So then we rang, and he rang me, then and he was telling me about the him passing the test. So I was sure for him. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It's a good
We do have like an actual like topic to talk about
topic.
kind of
Yeah,
on this, but just for anybody out there who is in Ireland who is trying to do a driving test, I have so there's two people I'm going to direct this to. If you have not applied to do it as soon as you can because the waiting list is so long anyway that when you want to do it, you're going to be left really annoyed like I was, where you're going to be just on the waiting list for a year and you're going to be able to drive no problem, and it's going to be frustrating that you have to keep waiting and waiting and waiting. So I would recommend anybody who currently doesn't have a learner permit or hasn't started their lessons, just do it while you're not under pressure, because I got chucked into a situation through like I don't want to make this sound like bad on like anybody surrounding me, like, but all of a sudden in my life I needed a car because of my living situation, because I was moving over to the south side. All my friends and family were on the north side, and it just became a really big problem once I was here that I couldn't practice with anybody because all my family were there, so I was practicing with my own stepdad. But I didn't want to be wrecking his head all the time as well. Which again, Monum is the biggest legend, and Monum has out with me so much. So shout out to Monum, Monum, absolute legend. But I felt bad that I had to always keep wrecking his head for it, And then also, if you are currently waiting on a test, cancellations is the only way you're getting a test in less than a year.
fact.
So just keep refreshing. I was refreshing the thing for 3 weeks, and only one test popped up in Dublin, other than the cancellation that I got.
Yeah,
It was
my
for like
when I
Leicester,
passed
and I couldn't do the day.
when I passed my test, it was a cancellation as well. So there you go, two for two.
It's the only way
Um,
I didn't do it.
I love these public announcements mid podcast. It's great.
Yeah, but that is it's just a bit of like sound advice. But
It
anyway, like
is.
the kind of the topic that I kind of like wanted to present to Imran over this was like, where was the first, like, because I have what I want to do once I get my license next week. I want to obviously go a couple of places. But I want to like ask Imran, like, where were the first couple of things? Where were the first couple of places or things that you did once you passed? Like, to kind of celebrate,
I remember the day that I did my driving test. I was actually in work, and I actually had to say to work, "Can I come in an hour later?" So I passed. I drove to the test center, passed my test, and then I drove to work. I used to drive to work when I didn't have my license. Don't arrest me, guys, please. But I used to do it because I had no one in the house to practice with. So I said, okay, what I'll do is I'll drive from Hunstown to the shopping centre, which is like literally a 5 minute drive, not even. And I did that for maybe like 3 weeks before my driving test just to get some practice in, because it was the only part I could actually do. At that point, I'd already done all my lessons, and I think I did 2 pre-tests. Besides that, I'll answer your question now after my tangent. First place I went to was work, which was which was just, I was just buzzing. I remember when I passed my test, like I was like screaming in my car driving to work, like I was just like buzzed. I had like my phone like playing music, and I was just like thinking, but I was still cautious of like driving safe, of course. But the first place after that I went was, I was off on the Saturday, and I went straight to Krusty Corner. It was the first place, and I sat in my car with my phone, and I watched something. I think I just was watching YouTube or something, and I remember the sun was blaring down. I had the windows open, I had the seat back. I was sitting there. I even got myself, and I normally, like when I go to Krusty Corner, I probably normally just get either a bottle of water and a chicken roll, because it comes free with the chicken roll. So yeah, good in, man. And then I remember I got like sides. It was great. It was just a great experience. And then the second place was actually, I went with you. We went to the cinema. This was like one of the first times you were actually in my car, I think, at the time. And then we went to the cinema. And then the third drive, I remember me and Nicola brought Bruno to the Phoenix Park. And I did this a lot when I passed my test. I brought Bruno to that Phoenix Park like maybe once a week, maybe like once every second week. And even there'd be just days where it'd be me and Bruno, and we just walk all around the Phoenix Park. I used to love it. Now, poor Betty still has some hairs in that car that Sean will see. You know, Bruno lives on with you, Sean. So
Yeah,
there you go.
I think I managed to get the last bit of them out yesterday, but I'm sure I'll still find some somewhere like under the seats and stuff
It's a part of him with you, with the car. So
Yeah, well, it could
I'm
be
talking
fun.
like he's dead. Yeah, I'm talking like he's dead. Like the guy's still healthy. Like he's probably having his like
chilling in Huntsdale at the
yeah,
moment.
yeah. He probably having his like fifth nap of the day or something. What a
Yeah, but
geezer. What's your
so
plans actually?
so my plan is to go to Christy Corner as well Saturday morning, and so I'll drive me and Simone out there, and then I on Saturday night like I want to go. Well, like I'm thinking that like so I'm expecting to get my license on Tuesday or Wednesday, so I'm thinking maybe on Thursday or Friday I might just like from my lunch break and work when I'm working from home, I might just drive over to a drive-through. And you like there's a Burger King in 5 minutes away, there's a McDonald's in 2 minutes away from here, just to
See,
go and do it, just to go and
yeah,
do it legally, like because I think that's the cliche thing is to go to a drive-through by yourself,
yeah,
because I think
yeah,
that'll be one that's like by myself, because obviously I'll have some on the car with me over the weekend and stuff. But I'm thinking like just for me, I might just go and do that. Like no, I am so excited to drive to rehearsals with band as well. So
Oh,
like that's
the fact that you
such
don't
a
have to
big
get on
big fan.
the fact that you don't have to get on public transport with like five guitars and all your equipment and you can just throw it in the boot is
Yeah.
just gonna be so handy.
Yeah, and Joe, one of the things I love about that car is the fact it's a hatchback, so I can fit loads of shit into it.
Yeah, the boot is big. In
Yeah,
fairness.
and then next Sunday we're going to go to the halfway house and get the best car in Dublin.
It was funny because Nicola actually listened to the podcast last week, and we were in Copenhagen, and she's like, I really enjoyed the last episode, and I was like, oh yeah, grand, thanks. And then she was like, and then she was saying, and I was like, oh, Sean passed his driving test. She's like, no way. I say he's gonna go straight to that Carvery, and I was like, oh, you remember that? And she was like, where was it? I was like, the halfway house. She's like, yeah, the halfway house. She couldn't think of the place.
It's one of those things really frustrating. It's like I live in I live in Ballyfermot, which is the opposite side of Phoenix Park where the halfway house is, and to get a bus there, again, like I can feel like my catchphrase at this point, but to get a bus from Ballyfermot to Blanche or anywhere near that is taking minimum an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to the halfway house. To get over to Blanche, minimum 2 hours. So and it's a 10-minute drive because I literally just have to come out my estate, go to Chapel Lizard, cross the park, and I'm there. You know, um. So yeah, I'm buzzing to do that, and yeah, like you said, like rehearsals is just going to be because like I felt so bad getting on the bus because I had this big ass bag that would carry two guitars and my whole like live setup with like my pedals and my tuners and like all my stands and shit. And like it was annoying to be on the bus with. Like it killed my back as well, man. It's so heavy. Like this
I
thing
can
weighs at
imagine.
least 42 kg, man. It's heavy. Like two guitars, man, heavy. So yeah, like I said, I don't often make a fuss about myself, but absolutely just fuss with this, and even like we were talking there just before we started recording, me and someone were something we were talking about like when we're coming over to see you guys, and we're like, oh, just I can
Yeah,
just drive to the airport now, just
class.
drive there. Probably we try stuff to park the car, be cheaper to park the car there than would be to get a taxi to the airport when we go
It
and get
actually
taxis
would.
home. So we're like, wow, we can just park the car, and like it's stuff like that, and like I'm just buzzing as well to be able to go and see my family. If I just decide on a Saturday at 2 o'clock, oh, I'm gonna go up to lunch and just say hi to my nana, I can because
Yeah.
like before it was like, okay, if I decide to do that, it's 4 hours out of my day. I'm just you know. Yeah, well, probably
It's
three and a half. Like it's like 4 hours might be a bit like because you get more or less traffic at certain points of the day. But it's the fact that I can just go, yeah. And if I knock over and they're not home, all right, grand, I'll just drive home, or I'll go and see somebody else.
it's a luxury of just being able to get in your car and literally go and get snacks as well. Like the amount of times like I'd be in bed and I'm like, oh, such an effort to walk to the shop. Now I know it's a bit different to you because you've only a shopping literally like a minute away from your house, but like where I live, it might have been like a 10-15 minute walk to the shop and up and back. That's half an hour. Where if I have the car, I'm literally up and back in less than 10 minutes. It's like it honestly, it makes the time difference. It just makes it's just
And do
so
you know
so
what?
peak.
This is such an adulting thing as well, because actually I didn't mention it there, but one of the things I'm most excited about as well is being able to go. Like you said there, like we've been shopping in Aldi since I got caught by the guards that time because I was doing this and I was driving on my L plates and I think like, oh yeah, got caught. And so since then, like I said, I didn't want to be like wrecking on them to go around to Aldi. So like we went to Aldi because it was like literally like you could walk to Aldi in 15 minutes from our house, but again, it's more the time to get to and from and carrying the bags and stuff, like just being able to throw the stuff in the boot from home. The commute time is less than 5 minutes in the car. So I was driving it then, and like it does the fact that now we can like we're like I was it's funny because like I passed my test and we were in Aldi on Saturday when I was still shit myself because I technically still wasn't allowed to drive because I have to have the license, which I'm not going to get till Tuesday. So I still had to be on high alert, like, but
Yeah,
like, we were just there. We're like, oh my God, this is our last week going to Aldi. We're just, Aldi is not the way to go. We're going to be a Dunn's household from now on. Just because
yeah.
Dunn's generally is the best value for money. But I couldn't go to Dunn's because it was in Clondalkin and it was like a 15-minute drive away. But now I can go to Dunn's and do the weekly shop. I can get spice burgers every week. Don't do that in Aldi. And
Yup, yup.
as well, something I talked about with my other friends is like the fact that like with a car you can dress for just one weather type. Because if it starts pissing rain, you can just get in your car and you're dry. Whereas if you're on the bus, you need to be able to pack for snow, rain,
Yeah,
or a
yeah, yeah.
sunny day. Like if it's like Ireland especially is bad for that, where like it'll be like 17 degrees sunny, but then there's also a chance it's still gonna rain. So you bring a rain jacket and then you're sweating on the bus or you're sweating walking around wherever you're walking. Whereas if you're in the car, pop it in the boot, oh it started raining. Yeah, grand. Throw the raincoat on, throw the heating on the car, not a bother. It's just
Man, the amount of times I drop Nicola home when Nicola used to stay at mine, and she'd be in work the next day, and like let's say I'm not in, I'd like drop her back to her house in the at night time, probably like 11 p.m., like half 11. The amount of times I used to just be in like football shorts and a t-shirt and my Crocs, and like it'd be pissing raining, but I'm like I'm not getting changed. Just that, like it'd be different if I was walking her home or if we were getting the bus back for her to get home. Like I'd obviously have to get changed up, jacket on, everything, which would take another 10 minutes. Where literally I'd be chilling already in my chilling clothes, and then she'd just be putting her shoes on and like literally hop in the car, drive her up and back, and be home in like 5 minutes. Like just it's just the little luxuries like that, and then being able to go to the shop as well, like you were saying. Also, and this is really weird because it only came. I had like a flashback there. You said Chapel Lizard, yeah?
yeah,
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it, correct? Yeah,
yeah,
I say Chapel Lizard as well, right?
yeah, yeah.
And, Nicholas says Chapel Lizoid, right? And
Right.
I'm calling her on blast right now. It's not Chapalizoid, it's Chapel Lizard.
Chapelizoid sounds like she has. Listen.
No, it doesn't. I hope she's in the other room, and I'm actually hoping she listens to this on the podcast. I'm calling her out. It's not Chapalizoid, it's Chapel Lizard.
Chapelizard, yeah, it's spelled
Yeah, Lizard.
Zard at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Lizard,
I'm calling
Lizard.
people, and that's gonna be one of the. That's gonna be if anyone. I want to put a little on the Instagram. I want to poll because I know for a fact no one calls it Lizoid. Like no one calls it Lizoid.
Yeah, I've
Like,
never heard of it.
I'm going down to chop a lizard. Like, no one's ever said that,
It
especially from
sounds
Northside.
the way you
Northside,
made it sound like there was like it was like a bit of the in-betweeners. Lizard,
yeah.
oh lizard, oh
Oh,
lizard.
lizard. Yeah, literally, doesn't it?
Yeah,
No one calls it that, man.
and that's another thing where that like I can just drive down there now. There's just a couple of really nice cafes and stuff down there. We haven't and there's like that Parkland Deli place. And there's a cafe that we went to before I got caught. That we went to a couple of times that we can start going back to again.
Banging.
Life is grand. Again, like honestly,
Life is
I'm
a
buzzing
highway.
that.
I
Yeah,
can ride it all night
I think
long.
it's time for us to wrap up here in Ramburg, or else
Yes.
we're going to lose retaining
We'll
viewers.
bore everyone to death.
Yeah. Anyway, the high points of the podcast is go and see Sinners, apply for your driving test, and driving is fucking deadly.
Deadly.
That's the keynotes from this one. Like, no,
Deadly, lads.
fucking deadly. Right. So yeah, we'll wrap up here, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Distance Dilemma podcast. This was episode number 14, and we will chat to you again next week. I'll hand you off to Imran.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and we will all see you next week.
Okay. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.